Looking forward to discussing our movie of the week, Moana.
Well, let me invite you to another conversation because this week we're also going to discuss The Invite.
We're gonna try something new for the first time. We're gonna be reviewing two movies because you refused to see the movie that we had on our schedule for months.
I did. I refused it. I said, F that.
This demigod Maui tries to steal this heart of this goddess Tafiti. He does actually steal it, and it causes chaos. It causes blight.
So the wife kind of deceives the husband and invites their neighbors who live on top of them. So the neighbors come for some dinner, some snacks, and then starts off with some really awkward conversations, short answers, and then it goes into
Welcome to Hate to See It with Mike and Cid, the talk show where we bring you a new movie review each week. I'm Mike.
and I'm Cid.
We're a small channel, so you'd really help us out by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and dropping a comment with your feedback. Also, we encourage you to take advantage of the chapters feature that lets you skip right to whichever segment of our show intrigues you the most. With that out of the way, Cid, how's it going?
It's going good, but not as bad as Conor McGregor.
Oh, that was a quick exit last night.
It was sure was 5 year wait, and then boom, he's out of it.
You truly hate to see it.
Truly.
Looks like, yeah, I mean, his leg like broke in half or something. It was disgusting.
Yeah, it was not pleasant to say the least. And how are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to discussing our movie of the week, Moana.
Well, let me invite you to another conversation because this week we're also going to discuss The Invite.
Well, we're gonna try something new for the first time. We're gonna be reviewing two movies because you refused to see the movie that we had on our schedule for months.
I did. I refused it. I said, F that. Even though I have an invite to Moana, I'm switching it up and I'm going to review a film that's getting a lot of buzz.
And it's called The Invite.
It is called The Invite. So, Moana, here is your invite to my review of The Invite.
All right, so it's gonna be a jam-packed episode with two reviews. So I guess we might as well just get right into the meat of it.
Let's do it.
Let's kick it off with our trivia segment, Cast Question.
What's up, everybody? It's Cass from Throwbacks with the Technodrome, and you know what time it is here on Hate to See with Mike and Cid. It's time for Cast Question. Which of the following was the first feature-length Disney animated film? Was it A, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, B, Dumbo, C, Cinderella, or D, Pinocchio?
All right, thanks for the question, Cast. Sid and I are gonna try to work it out and try to come up with the right answer with the new format where we're trying to stump, or Cast is trying to stump us, I guess, right?
That's right. It's you and I versus him. And just to let our viewers know, I won the series when it was you versus me.
Well, I mean, who knows?
I
We
won.
might,
I
we
won.
might, we might go back to it. You never know.
But for now, I'm the victor. But let's beat Cast because he's winning 1-0.
Do you know the answer to this question, Sid?
I do not. I figure you might know better.
Do you
Where
have a
you live.
guess? Do you have a guess?
It was Dumbo, Snow White. What else did he say?
Cinderella,
Cinderella,
and I think Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. Oof, that's tough. I don't know, I may go Pinocchio, but I don't think that's the right answer. What are you leaning
The
towards?
answer is 100% Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
All right.
I have no
You
doubt
better
about
be
that.
right.
I am right. Okay, so
Let's hope so. You
let's
sound
see.
confident.
Unless it's a Mandela effect.
The answer to that question is A, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And if you didn't know that one, your brain is probably asleep under a spell. But don't worry, someday your prince will come. Back to you, Mike and Cid.
Wait, what was your guess?
Hey, Snow White. That's what I said.
All right. So I guess we tie with Cass, right?
Yeah, we're tied 1-1. I almost wish I was still competing against you because I'd be gaining a little ground.
But you did not.
All right, well, thanks, Cass. That's some good trivia. Yeah, Snow White. I mean, that was a huge deal. I mean, that movie's what year did it come out? I think 39-ish around there. I mean, I've seen documentaries about the making of that movie, so that's why I knew the answer. Yeah, it was a huge endeavor to get that movie. I mean, it had never been done before. I mean, everything animated before that was just like short cartoons.
Mm.
So it was a
Well, I'm
huge,
proud of you. Good job, Mike.
huge deal. All right. So let's go to our next segment then. A 60-second setup.
All right. You go first.
All right, so I will do the 60-second setup for Moana. This is the 2026 remake of the 2016 animated film Moana. Basically follows the same, not basically, it follows the exact same plot structure. So if you've seen that movie, you don't even really need a setup. But for those who aren't familiar with it, it's set out in Polynesia, in the Pacific, and Moana is part of this island culture that like kind of sticks to their own island. But Moana wants to explore the ocean. The setup of the movie is this demigod Maui tries to steal this heart of this goddess Tefiti. He does actually steal it, and it causes chaos. It causes blight, and it becomes very hard to grow food and to fish. And Moana is told this legend by her grandmother that if Maui restores the heart of Tefiti, then everything will go back to normal. So Moana goes on this journey to do that. And she, encounters Maui along the way, who's played by The Rock, and then that's basically the setup for the movie.
All right, good job. 60 second or less. And I am excited because this week we're doing two of them. So one should always be in love. That is the reason one should never marry. That's how the film starts. Great quote, a quote I can identify with.
That's
So
a
this,
horrible quote.
I think it's a perfect quote. And we'll talk more about it later. But anyway, 60 seconds or less. This is the next A24 film. It's a comedy about a couple who their marriage is struggling. They're hit a dry patch. Things are not going well. So the wife kind of deceives the husband and invites their neighbors who live on top of them. So the neighbors come for some dinner, some snacks, and then it starts off with some really awkward conversations, short answers, and then it goes into even longer conversations where it's really unexpected. So these unexpected conversations lead these married couples to have conversations they never thought they would, really intimate conversations. They learn a lot about each other, and that's all she wrote, 60 seconds or less.
That's very good, Sid. I had seen some trailers for this movie. It didn't look like it was going to be my cup of tea, but I heard it's very funny. But I do have a question for you based from that setup, if you don't mind. Um, in the trailers, I think the whole movie or the whole trailer was just in this apartment or in the apartment building. Is the whole movie just in the apartment?
So it starts off at a school where Seth
Okay.
Rogen's character is teaching, per se, music. And then he rides his bicycle to the apartment where the rest of the film takes place. So yes, the majority of the movie does take place in an apartment. And if our viewers remember, when I did this trailer talk about this film, I was not looking forward to this movie
Yeah, it's a really
initially.
strange looking movie.
Yeah, sure is. All right, that's our 60-second setup. And now let's get into our next segment.
Hate to see it. It's our segment where we each give two things that we disliked about the movie. And in this case, it's going to be two different movies. Um, I'll kick it off with Moana. We're going to keep that same order, Moana, then The Invite, so people at home can follow along. Um, my first hate to see it is The Rock. I didn't like The Rock in this movie.
Oof.
Uh, did you see any of the trailers for the live action?
Yes, a lot of them.
He just looks weird. He's got this terrible wig on. It's just like, I mean, he looks like he's too tan. Like he like stayed in the tanning booth for too long. It's just he looks. There's just no other way to say it. He just looks very odd. And I've seen a number of clips online uh, showing his performance in the animated version back to back with the same scene in the live action, and he's just not putting in the effort that was in the animated, like the with his voice inflection, like the tone. I mean, it's almost monotone the way he delivers a lot of the lines in this movie. I don't want to say he was phoning it in, but it's just there's no doubt about it. It's just not as good of a performance. So yeah, that was the first thing I hated to see in this movie. Second, hate to see it was I think the movie it stays way too close to the source material. It's almost a shot for shot remake. Um, I think the right balance for these remakes is keep the frame of the original movie, keep it like very much the same, but add something, not something major, but something like to the backstory that is well done and interesting, and add like a new musical number. I think that helps. That worked with
Mhm.
Aladdin. I think Aladdin was a very good live action remake.
Great
This
remake.
this movie has a song in the end credits, a new song. I think it's called Along the Way. And I'm sitting there at the end of the movie listening to the song. It's a really good song. It was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote all the original songs for Moana, and it's sung by Moana. And it's a really good song. And then after a couple minutes, The Rock starts rapping. I'm like, is this a new song? Because it sounds completely different. But then Moana joins in the rapping, which is kind of cool, and then it goes back into the melody of the song. It's why wasn't this song in the movie? This is exactly what you need to do in these live action remakes. Just something that justifies the movie existing. There's really no point in doing these things. So I don't know why I don't know why they put that in the end credits. I hated to see it.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I agree with you. I get it that a lot of times they try to come up with some songs or whatnot in the end credits to get viewers to stay so they can see the end credits. But a lot of times, let's be honest, people are not staying, right? Unless they know there's a scene afterwards that's going to happen, an end credits scene. Usually people don't stay, from my experience. So
Hmm.
if it's a really good song, like you're mentioning, have it in the freaking movie. So I agree with you. And then back to The Rock, that is really disappointing to hear from you. Our viewers don't notice. Maybe I mentioned it once, but I have a Rock Funko Pop from Moana in my bedroom.
Oh,
So it's kind of disappointing to hear
does
that.
it look like The Rock or does it look like the character Maui?
It's a good question. I think it's probably looks like the Maui.
Yeah,
And let me ask you another question, Mike. So apparently, Moana, the actress that played her in the what's it called, the animated version, was not the Moana in this film. Is that correct?
that's correct. I don't.
Why?
I'm assuming it's an age thing because she's
The
supposed to be a
age?
teenage girl. I don't know how
Mm,
old, but it's been 10 years, so I imagine she's just too old for the role.
yeah, interesting. All right, let's get right into my hate to see it. That's all I got for you. Good job. I'm sure our viewers appreciated it. Yeah, The Rock's a big draw. You would hope he would have came through with this film. He's kind of
And
on
he's a
a
producer on the movie too.
oh, really
Yeah,
interesting.
it
That is unacceptable.
was disappointing.
Very, I agree with you. All right, so The Invite. One thing I did not like for this film, and I just want to preface, it was really hard finding things I did not like by this film. So I'm kind of nitpicking here. It's something I just didn't like as much as the other things. So in the middle of this film, so as I mentioned earlier, it's about two couples that live on top of each other, or one below one on top.
Hmm.
So they invite the couple up top to come to, I guess, a dinner. And then eventually the couple split up. So when they split up, it is Seth Rogen and then what is her name? Let me look at my notes. Ooh.
Olivia Wilde,
No, no,
Penelope
Penelope
Cruz.
Cruz. Yeah, so Seth Rogen and thank you, Mike. Penelope Cruz are together, so they have several scenes with each other. And then
But
Olivia
they're not
Wilde.
married, right?
No, they're not married.
Right.
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate clarifying that. And then Olivia Wilde is with Ed Norton. So the couple separate. They get, and when they separate, like I just wanted to get away from the Olivia Wilde and Ed Norton scenes. I just wanted to get back to Seth and Penelope. Penelope Cruz. Is that how you
Penelope. Penelope.
Penelope. I just want to get back. Their scenes were much more funnier. I enjoyed them much more. And it kind of makes sense because I'm a male. So generally, males will identify with the male characters better, right? More. So I was
Hmm.
identifying more with Seth Rogen. Like I wanted to see him succeed more. So it's kind of uncomfortable watching Olivia Wilde with Ed Norton, who, by the
Why,
way,
why
Ed
aren't you
Norton,
why aren't you identifying with Ed Norton?
good question, because he wasn't really the main character. The main two characters were Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde.
Okay.
So they're the couple that's married, and then the other couple, I just was really pulling for Seth Rogen. That's who I was really interested with. There was nothing wrong with the scenes between Olivia Wilde and Ed Norton. Again, Ed was fantastic. It was just more uncomfortable seeing like a woman potentially get involved with another male, even though it's obviously happened with um, Seth Rogen and Cruz. But yeah, those scenes kind of like I just wanted to get away from those and go back to Seth. So that was one thing I disliked.
Okay.
Another thing, so this is an adult comedy. This movie was very funny, but it really changes the tone towards like the last 10 to 15 minutes. So again, I'm nitpicking here. It wasn't bad. It was really meaningful how the film ended. It ended with a lot of questions for the viewers, and it was kind of left open-ended. But it just completely changes the tone. It goes from like very funny, you're constantly laughing to a really serious tone. So that quick switch of tone, the darkness, kind of like it just it took me out of the film a little bit, if that makes sense. Like I just wanted to end on a funny note, even though it wouldn't have been as effective. But yeah, just that quick sudden switch from funny, because there's a really funny scene where like Seth Rogen like hurts his back, which is a common theme in the film. Like he's about to get with this is spoilers obviously, but he's about to get with Penelope Cruz, and then he hurts his back, so he kind of gets C blocked by his back. And then, it gets into really serious conversations of like, why is Olivia Wilde married with Seth Rogen? So that's really the meat and bones of the film. So that's
Well,
something.
Seth Rogen always seems to have a wife who's or a girlfriend who's much more attractive than him
Yes,
in movies.
yes. And a
Uh,
lot of times he's a director, so I'm sure he casts attractive women. But,
but
but
I
go
don't think
ahead.
he did direct this one, right?
No, no, he didn't. But I'm saying a lot of
Yeah,
times he's a director.
well,
Yeah.
but I know, but that's kind of was kind of lead in was going to lead into a question I had for you. Like, does this have the tone of like your standard Seth Rogen comedy, or does it feel different?
There's definitely Seth Rogen vibes throughout the film, even though he didn't direct or write this. He's a stoner in his film. He's a stoner in a lot of his movies. So
Yeah.
you have those aspects, but it did feel a little bit different. Yeah, it did feel a little different. It wasn't like a Seth Rogen flick because again, he didn't direct it. And by the way, do you know who wrote this film?
I have no idea.
So let's see. I always do this, but help me figure out who this woman is. There's two people, a man and a woman. But the woman, oh, I got it actually. Rashida Jones.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ann Perkins?
Ann Perkins. So I was gonna say she's the woman from the show. What's it called? Parks and Recreation. But I
Yeah.
actually got it. It's Rashida Jones and some other man who wrote this film.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yep.
All right, good job. I guess that means it's time for love to see it. It's
All
the
right.
inverse of what we just did. We give you two things that we loved about the movie, right? That's what we're
That's
doing
what
now.
it is. Yep.
Okay. I was like, wait, did we
Sure
just do love
is.
to see it? So Moana, love to see it. My first one is Moana and her girlfriend. Not girlfriend. Like, Moana, that would be a change, right? If
Yes,
they
big change.
Disney would be getting in trouble if they
Oh
did that.
yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Moana and her grandma, big
Yeah.
difference. Moana and her grandma, I thought they
Huge.
were perfectly cast.
Okay.
Moana is like the animated character come to life. Like if I was in charge, if I worked for Disney and I was in charge of pitching movies to the heads, and like we were talking about should we do a Moana live action remake, I'd probably be like no. But if I knew that there was this girl who could play the role this well, I was like, she alone justifies this movie. It justifies the movie's existence. I think Disney has struck out recently with a lot of their live action princesses, but they hit a home run here. And the grandma is really good as well. So good, in fact, that I thought that they did take the voice actress and just put her in the movie, but they didn't. It's someone else, but she sounds exactly like the grandma. She looks like the grandma come to life. So they did a really good job with the casting of those two roles. Love to see
Okay.
it.
Good. And I love to see it. It wasn't their girlfriend.
Yes.
Wait, did you do one or two?
I only did one. Here's my second one. Um, oh, okay. This is just a very quick one. One of the only things that I think is actually better in this movie than the animated movie is a lot of the movie takes place on the ocean, and there's a lot of danger on the ocean.
Hmm.
And the live action brings a sense of danger and excitement to this movie that is not present in the animated movie. So, and when you combine that with the sound in the IMAX theater that I went to, there's some pretty exciting moments in this movie. So that gives the movie a bit of a different a bit of a different vibe than the animated movie had. And I love to see it.
Awesome, Mike. Wait, so you said you saw this in IMAX? Is that what you just say?
Yeah, like one of the Limax screens, like
Okay.
yeah, but it's still I sit a little closer, and if the screen fills my whole field of vision. Empty theater, man. This movie is not doing well at the box office. I went at 6 o'clock last night.
Oh, on a Saturday. It should be
You would
packed.
expect it to be
That don't
packed.
know.
There were like 12 people in the theater.
That is terrible. That is not good for Disney. That's a
Yeah,
flop.
and there was a girl who was a little girl who was dressed up as Moana, and she was having a great time. But yeah, not too many. I'm surprised. Moana is very popular. Not too many people came out in support.
Sorry, Gato was awake and he's very noisy. What was I
I
gonna
got them.
say? Yes, he says hi back. Um, what was it? Oh, what was the demographic of the people at this film, watching this film?
It's families.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised it wasn't a big weekend. I guess there's a lot of sports last night, but families you would think would have been out there to support this film. I don't know why.
There hasn't been a lot of, I just didn't seem people were excited for this movie. I think it was too close to the original. 10 years, I don't think is long enough to do a
Okay.
remake. And I think Toy Story 5 is still in theaters. Disney is hurting
Not a,
themselves by putting this too close to Toy Story 5, and Minions is out there, so families have options right now.
oh, Minions. Yes, that's apparently doing really well.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you, Mike. I'm getting to my love to see it's about the invite. So usually a film about adults going through struggles of marriage is going to be pretty dark, and Gato's not shining up. So this film, yes, at the end I mentioned it does get dark, but it was hysterical. This was a really funny film. And you and I via text had talked about how we haven't really seen a comedy recently that's laugh out loud, right? We
They just don't
haven't.
make them anymore.
They don't make them anymore. It's a big problem. So I haven't laughed like this in such a long time, Mike. It was pretty hysterical. This is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time. I really needed it. The audience members with me were laughing hysterically. We just couldn't contain ourselves. It was just so funny. Again, this movie's about these two couples going through potentially maybe one day a divorce or a separation. And then they invite this other couple to come see them, and Gato's biting me. And then basically during this conversation, during the small talk, Seth Rogen was like, I want to tell this couple of why we dislike them. And the reason why he dislikes them is because they can hear them having sex really loud. So Olivia Wilde's like the whole time, like, no, no, you can't say that. Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. And he's like, no, it's so loud. We can't sleep. But the other two characters, Ed Norton and Cruz, they know that something's bothering them because they actually catch Seth Rogen one night with their camera coming to the door and start like yelling because the sex was too loud. So that was a really funny scene. But eventually they find out that it's not because they're having sex, it's because they're doing group sex with other people. So that's why the sex is so loud. They're having like these swinger parties. Obviously, there's consent. So they're talking about how they organize this and how there's a menu and you go to conventions to meet other couples. And then Olivia Wilde and Seth are like really like, wow, this is great. So they're asking a lot of questions. You could tell Olivia Wilde wants to really participate. Seth Rogen wants to really participate because Penelope Cruz is really hot. But yeah, this was so funny. It's something you don't normally get with failed marriage movies. Though was it last year we reviewed or was it this year? We reviewed another story about a separation.
Yeah,
Mike?
is this thing on?
Yes. So that's another funny film about like a serious topic. So two
Yes. Yeah.
so two films this movie that did a really good job of making it lighting the mood about a serious topic. So yeah, I love that aspect of this film.
Is it like extremely awkward?
Yeah, there's definitely some awkward scenes, but that adds to the funniness.
Yeah, sometimes like when stuff gets too awkward, it's so uncomfortable that it's like I want to leave the theater or if I'm watching TV, just turn it off.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Like some
what
of
you
those
mean.
classic Office episodes are just so hard to watch. Like Scott's Tots.
Yes, that's a great episode, but also really tough to watch. Like you're saying, like for example, one like Olivia Wilde, she's really trying to impress these characters, and Penelope Cruz is obviously Spanish, right? So
Hmm.
she buys her a jamon, and she's like, "I got jamon for you," and then Penelope Cruz is like, "I'm a vegan," so like all the food, she bought for this couple does not work. Penelope Cruz can't eat it, and then later Penelope Cruz is like to Seth Rogen, "By the way, that's not jamon, that was prosciutto." Um,
Oh.
so yeah, a lot of funny elements throughout the film. Another thing I really loved. Any questions, or should I move on to the next? Love to see it.
No, you can go on.
All right. Another thing I really love is the chemistry between the four. They all brought their A game. Every single actor or actress was fantastic in this role. Again, a film that takes place in a contained area like an apartment, you better hope everyone brings their end game. Because if one of the four characters is not good, it could really take away. Because a lot of times the character in the film is like the surrounding area. And so when you get different areas, different scenes, it kind of adds some value to the film. But this one just has the apartment, right? So the characters, like I'm saying, they have to really do, or the actors have to do a really good job, and they all did. Whether it was all four together, whether it was two on two, every actor brought something new to the film. They play off each other really well. They all had comedic chops. They all had serious chops. They go from being funny to like angry to sad. in a quick second. So yeah, like the acting was just so top notch. Like bravo to all of them.
Is it pretty much just the four of them in the movie?
Yep, it's the four of them. Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen, they have a kid who you don't see. The kid goes off to like their friend's house.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just the four of them. And like I said, when you have just four characters in apartment, you better bring your A game.
Hmm.
So yeah, chemistry was really good and just so funny.
It must have been a pretty cheap movie to make. I wonder what the budget was.
Oh yeah, I imagine it was cheap to make.
Yeah, the actors would be the only expensive part of it.
Correct. And Olivia Wilde directed this film. And originally she did not want to be in this film, but the other actors were like, "You got to be in it." So yeah, she really big props to her. I know she gets a lot of dislike recently in media and stuff like that, but she crushed it with this directing and acting.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of drama over her last movie.
Yes, I forget which one it was, but she really redeemed
The
herself.
one with like, was Harry Styles in it? Or
Potentially, it was who was her lover.
yeah, in real
That's
life?
yes,
And is that why she left? She was with
yes.
Jason Segel, right?
Was this Jason Segel, the guy from Ted
Ted
Lasso?
Lasso?
Is
I think
Segel?
I
No, no,
not
no.
Jason Segel. That's not his name, but that's who she
Yeah.
was with. Ted Lasso. What's his name? Um,
And we just talked about him a couple weeks ago.
yeah, whatever.
But yeah, whatever his name is.
I always forget his name. But yeah, they were together,
They
right?
were together a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, people don't like her, I guess.
No, but I think after this film, she's gonna go through a redemption arc.
All right, good job, Sid. It sounds like might have to check this movie out.
Yes, you should.
When I'm in the mood for a comedy. All right, we're not going to do what if, so that will bring us to the verdict.
Yes, sir. I mean, wow,
Yeah,
we're going quick for this review, right?
it's good. It's
You
good.
would think with two films like this would be one of our longer episodes, but it's not.
We got to keep it moving along. Keep it punchy. I'll go first for Moana. You know, when this movie was announced, I think a lot of people thought this was going to be a lazy cash grab, a live action remake of a movie that's not even 10 years old. Uh, I can report that it's neither of those two things. The movie is not lazy. There's clearly a lot of care and effort um, put behind this movie. And even though The Rock's performance wasn't great, I don't think he's phoned it in. I don't think anyone's phoned it in the movie. Um, and the production value behind this is very good. And it's not really a cash grab either because it's not making any money. So you can't say either of those two things about this movie. What it does have going for it is it has the great story and the great songs from the original Moana. So it's kind of hard to not like this movie because the DNA is good. In my opinion, the songs in Moana are right up there with the best Disney movies, especially like the ones we grew up with from like the Disney Renaissance era, like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid, The Lion King. The songs are right up there with those Disney classics. It's just impossible when those songs are playing during the movie. It's impossible not to just be like bopping your head and having a good time. So that kind of saves the movie from some of the problems that I talked about. Um, Particularly The Rock's performance, doesn't really do anything to justify its existence other than I think the casting of Moana and her grandmother were inspired casting. Also, the movie really shows you that this is meant to be an animated movie, not a live action movie. There's just stuff it's like, this just looks weird in live action. They make the giant crab more realistic. They make the goddess Tafiti more realistic looking. They just look better as animated characters. Um, During the musical number "You're Welcome," which is the one that the Rock sings, it's a great song. Um, in the animated version of it, they use a lot of 2D animation. Um, it's very well done. They do that in this movie too. They mix the 2D animation with the live action, and it looks great. But it's just a reminder that a lot of the best stuff in this movie is animated. There's so much of this movie that is animated. The water's all animated. All these creatures are animated. So it's like I don't really know what the point of this movie was. At the end of the day, it's a good story with good songs, so it's not terrible. But it's just like I don't know. I don't know what they were doing here. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. Hate to see it.
You hate to see it, Mike. Thank you for sharing that with our viewers. Originally I was kind of excited and looking forward to seeing Moana because I did enjoy the animated version. But like you said, maybe it's too early. Maybe we do not need this right now.
Yeah.
So at some point after seeing this trailer, Mike, like 15 times, I feel like I was like, I can't see this film. I'm glad you did, so the viewers could hear from your perspective if, whether or not you liked it or not. But I had to switch it up. I took the invitation to go see the invite, which we've been talking about. And this film really hit a home run for me. Truly was a home run. I truly love to see this film. I
Wow.
needed a film that was laugh out loud funny. I needed to just get away and just laugh. I haven't had that experience in such a long time. Kind of remind. I think Naked Gun was the last comedy that I did. Did you see Naked Gun?
Yeah, the remake. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It was really funny. We didn't review that film, I think, did
No,
we?
that was before we started doing reviews.
Oh, that'd been a good film to review, actually. But yeah, that's the last time I really laughed out loud from a movie. So I was I really needed a comedy. And originally, when I saw this trailer, I didn't think I was going to like this film. I didn't think this film was going to be funny. It seemed like a serious topic again about a couple getting potentially divorced or having some struggles. But it just had fun, laughter after laughter after laughter after laughter. And when I kicked off the 60-second sit-up, again, I had a quote that says, "One should always be in love. That is the reason one should never marry." That's from Oscar Wilde. So it's kind of cool that Olivia Wilde, even though they're not related, uses a famous quote from Oscar Wilde. And to me, the way I interpreted that is like sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times when couples are married, they just lose that love. They develop some, I don't know, they might get angry with one another, or they might have some issues with one another, and they don't always communicate that. And because of that, you lose the feeling of being in love. And what I think Oscar Wilde is saying is like if you're not in a marriage, you're just constantly loving other people and more people, inviting more people into your life where you can have that excitement. And I think that's what this film is trying to portray. Like sometimes you need to invite others, whether it's a sex party or not, to kind of lighten the mood. I'm not saying you should have a sex party, but yeah, it kind of showed that when you have struggles with your significant other, don't go talk about it with other people. Talk about it with your significant other. And I think this was kind of a therapy session for Olivia and Seth Rogen. They kind of went through that therapy session together. And then throughout this film, they're talking about how Seth Rogen used to be in a band and he loved the band. And then eventually he becomes a failure because he doesn't become successful. So he stops singing. He stops playing, even though he's teaching it. And then Olivia Wilde's like, "Why'd you stop? Like, why'd you stop? Like, you had so much potential." And you could tell that's a lot of the big reasons why their marriage is kind of falling apart. So this film ends with Seth Rogen kind of like separating from Olivia. They're gonna decide about not being together anymore. So he goes into his room and he starts playing the piano, which he hasn't played for a long time. And Olivia Wilde comes and sits down with him and kind of plays with him. It's a really touching moment. You didn't know if they're gonna divorce now or maybe now that he's opening himself up again to his wife, are they gonna find love again? So yes, I recommend people go see this film. Really enjoyed it. 4.5 stars, Mike. I think you should see it. I may see it again because I just could not stop laughing. I think I'll pick up even more things the second time seeing this film. But bravo to everyone involved. This is
You,
definitely one of the
you,
highlights.
you just spoiled the ending.
It's a spoiler section, though.
No, we're not supposed to do spoilers in the verdict.
Oh shit! Well, you hate to see it. I spoiled
Oh,
it.
should I edit it out or
No, it's whatever.
I'll
It is
just
what
put
it
a
is.
warning in there, I guess, man.
But a warning.
Plus, you spoiled it for me. We talked about this. We weren't going to do spoilers this week because I haven't seen the movie.
Oh fuck. Oh. Well,
Oh,
it's up. Well, at the end of the day, it's up to interpretation. So you
okay.
might interpret it a little differently.
It's a comedy anyway, so I guess who
Yeah, it's a
really
comedy
cares?
anyway. I apologize. You hate to see it, but I love to see this film. Um, yeah.
I'm curious if I would like it because just my impression of it is that I would not like it, that it would not be my cup of tea. But, you
Yeah, it
know,
might be a little awkward for you, but I think it's worth a shot. I mean, I was laughing hysterically. Like I said, this film could have been a disaster. And originally I said I did not like to see this trailer. I did not want to see this. But Moana forced me to take the invitation and go see the invite.
Moana was not bad.
Two and a half stars is bad though.
I almost gave it 3 stars. I really did. It didn't do enough to justify its existence, and it's not as good
Mm.
as the original. So it's like, how can I give it 3 stars? But at the end of the day, it's got great songs in it, and it's got a great story. So, it's
How's the
not.
action? Did you talk about the action?
Yeah, a
Action.
little bit. I talked to the action is actually that's probably the one thing this movie does better than the animated movie, just because it just it brings a little bit more danger and excitement, just the fact that it's live action.
Sure.
You
If
see
you
like a
never
big
saw
tidal wave coming at Moana,
Yep,
it hits different than it does when it's a cartoon.
it sure does. If you never saw the original animated, do you think the score would have been different or no?
Probably would have given it a love to see it. Yeah, for sure. If I had never seen the animated, probably would have given it like 3 or 3. I might have given it like 3.5 stars because the songs are so good in Moana, and these are
Hmm.
good. I didn't mention this. These are good versions of the songs. Some of these Disney live action movies do bad versions of the songs.
Sure.
These songs are almost note for note. That's one of the amazing things about the actress who plays Moana. It's the performance is just as good as the original. It's incredible. So I mean, now I'm talking myself into a love to see it, but no, 2.5
So you gotta
is
stick to it.
it's the right score. But yeah, if this was an original movie, if there had been no, this would have been a huge hit if there was no
Sure.
original animated movie.
Alrighty. Well, viewers, if you haven't seen the original animated, maybe go see this. Help The Rock out. Don't force him to go back into wrestling. And then viewers, The Invite, really go see it.
RSVP.
RSVP to The Invite. Well, this was fun, Mike. We did our first time dual ever movie review. What
Yeah,
was your thoughts
let
on
us know
it?
how you liked it. We did it kind of back and forth where we're talking about two different movies at the same time. I want to know if that's confusing because we could do it differently where we just do one review at a time, like if we ever do this again.
Yep.
But I thought it was, I don't know, it seems like it made sense.
Yeah, no, I look forward to it.
Yeah, and I have a feeling in the fall when there's a lot of horror movies that I don't want to see, we're probably going to be doing this again.
Yeah, we've talked about doing this before. We never did it.
Yeah.
A lot of times, instead of doing that, we review the film like the Jaws or
Mhm.
Jaws. But this time, I was just dreading going to see Moana, and I'm glad I got to see The Invite.
Yeah, and we had some conversation, like we had some questions for
Yes,
each
that's
other,
good.
so I thought it worked out.
I
But
thought
yeah,
so
let
too.
us know in the comments if you think this works, or it's probably going to need some tinkering if we do it again, I'm sure. But I think
Yes.
we're probably going to do it again.
Alrighty.
What do we got next week, Sid?
It's the big one. It is the Odyssey.
The Odyssey,
I
Christopher
can't wait.
Nolan's epic.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
This.
I'm
Oh,
going
it's
to be seeing it
all.
before you
I
for
know.
once.
I know. Because
Thursday.
you're seeing on Thursday. I'm seeing on Friday. I usually see it on Thursday, but I had to go see it in the 70 millimeter IMAX, which is like an hour drive. But I wanted to go see it. And I bought these tickets over like a year ago.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, let's see. I mean, last time Christopher Nolan did a film was Oppenheimer. We've talked about this before. I wasn't originally excited to see Oppenheimer. I was like, why don't you do something different? Like, do a Christopher Nolan film. But he crushed it.
Oppenheimer's one of my favorite of his
Yeah,
movies. Yeah,
it
it's
really
up there.
surprised me. So let's
Yeah.
see if this one does the same thing or similar. But yeah, shot completely in IMAX. Rest in peace. Is it Jeff Keighley or what's his father's
Yeah,
name?
I think so. I don't know what his Keeley. I don't know what the
Yeah, it's
father's name is.
Keeley. I'm talking about the guy his son, Keeley's son, who does video games. But yes, this is dedicated to Keeley. Looking forward to seeing this film and talking about it with our viewers.
Yeah, just so people don't know what we're talking about. The guy who made the IMAX camera for this movie is the movie's in memory of him, right?
Yes, you're a huge friend of Christopher Nolan, and Christopher Nolan is doing a really good job of recognizing it and showing him love.
Okay. All right, Sid, this was a fun conversation.
Sure was.
I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Alrighty, see you folks next time.
Take care. Bye.